Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today's video is gonna be about Mortal Console Champion maintenances and whatever update we just got from Kabam Mike on forums and what's gonna happen, and then we're gonna talk about what steps Kabam should take. So first and foremost, the informative part. So Kabam Mike has dropped an announcement saying that over the last couple of days, contest has been encountering problems with our infrastructure that has caused issues with the game stability, resulting in unscheduled downtimes and other negative effects in game. Basically, while they're trying to resolve it, and there will be more maintenances, they will be delaying Sasquatch arenas till the issues are resolved, and also new solo and alliance events will not be available. And additionally, they are investigating issue with alliance war matchmaking that resulted in many alliances missing out a war. And please note there may still be some further issues that occur, so more maintenance is coming probably. And yeah, that's pretty much kind of like the update. So first and foremost, whatever was going wrong still will be going wrong, all likely for probably a day or two. So no arenas, which probably is gonna upset even more people. And now let's get to the nitty-bitty grit, because over the past day or so I have received over a dozen messages with very outraged people being extremely upset, outraged with Kabam, how dare they, so on and so forth. And as fun it is to poke fun at Kabam, over issues such as this, I inherently don't really get angry about them. Because this is one of those things that just happens. Like, I don't know, you wake up one day in the morning and your car won't start. It's not a decision that you deliberately made necessarily, just that something has gone wrong. For instance, anybody who has worked on Microsoft Excel, you have spent, I don't know, 2 hours creating a wonderful, wonderful spreadsheet or filtering data or whatever, and perhaps you haven't saved it, and it just crashes. Like, you lost a significant portion of your work, and who is to blame? It's technically you for not saving it, but again, it's kind of out of your control because it's something unexpected. It's not a bad, poor, ill advised decision that you have made. And I'm definitely not a critic when it comes to showing the stick to Kabam and telling exactly how I feel about the decisions that they make. And here is the key difference. This is not a deliberate, malicious, intentional action. This is unfortunate happenstance. And I typically don't kind of like get wound up about. Obviously, yes, I have had my fair share of inconvenience about this. I had to stay later because the game went down as I needed to join a queue, so I had to stay up like extra 40 minutes, which caused me to get into a little brawl with my girlfriend or whatever. And it's inconvenient for everybody, and all of us are affected by it, many more than others. For instance, perfect example here is the alliances that missed alliance war enlistment phase and therefore are missing out on a war, and therefore significantly jeopardizing their positions in alliance war seasons, which is something that we're going to get to. But with these kind of issues that are not inherently, let's say, evil, ill-advised, or just kind of ill-intended, I am relatively kind of calm-minded. Obviously, I prefer a better functioning game, and I think it is part of Kabam's obligation to provide us with such game and allow us access to it. But at the same time, and this is going to be the second point, I heavily believe that this is first and foremost not Kabam's fault. It is more than likely their server provider. Obviously, I don't have all the details, I don't have full the details, but keep in mind this, because when the game goes down, it's a net negative for both players and Kabam. Obviously, imagine you're a new player, you just downloaded a game that has been down for, I don't know, more than half a day, the day you downloaded. You can uninstall it. So that deters a lot of people from the game in the first place who might have picked it up in these couple of days. Additionally, a lot of people get enraged, pissed off, or upset and just uninstall the game, never to come back, because if it's not reliable with all its other issues, maybe it's not worth the hassle. So more people can quit it from that point of view. So Kabam obviously doesn't like it, because also, whilst maintenances are on, they can't really sell you anything. In this case, they even postponing the arenas for Sasquatch, so on and so forth. So it is a financial net negative for Kabam 100%, with maybe some of the players leaving and many new players not picking up the game in the first place. And for players as well, obviously you're missing out on rewards, your daily schedules are inconvenienced, your alliance events are impossible to participate the way you normally do, and that leads into a lot of frustration and negative experience. And people are mad. I can understand that they're mad, but I personally cannot relate to that anger being directed at Kabam. It's just one of those things that we kind of have to suck it up, in my personal opinion, again, because I believe this is much more to do with the companies that Kabam is paying for the servers or whatever, and they are also likely to be under an NDA or something like that themselves, where they can't openly criticize or name and shame the people who are responsible, so they kind of have to take it on the chin. So even though it is not necessarily their fault, in my opinion, but at the same time it is still their responsibility. And many people think that responsibility and fault is exactly the same thing, but in fact they are completely different. Kind of fault typically refers to the past tense, is like who did what. Responsibility more frequently is your present current actions. For instance, if somebody leaves a baby on your doorstep, it wasn't your fault that the baby was left on your doorstep. It's nothing that you did, it just happened to happen, or somebody else made a decision. But the moment you open the door and you see a baby in front of your door, he is your responsibility, and you need to take appropriate actions, even though you didn't ask for it or you technically didn't do anything wrong. So the same case here applies with Kabam, where even though it might not necessarily have been their fault, it is their responsibility to deal with this in satisfactory manner and keep as many of us satisfied, happy, or quiet as they can. And so saying that they will be delaying arenas, which I think is fair enough, definitely, because the times people can grind will be severely messed up, and somebody who maybe would be sleeping through a maintenance and waking up and the game is up and he can grind normally is going to be significantly a more advantageous position than somebody who, for instance, is up when the game goes down, and that would be his grind time and he can grind later, so on and so forth. So yeah, I think that delaying Sasquatch Arenas is annoying, but is fair, definitely. No more solo or alliance events. I think they could have let those just in. I don't think there's much wrong with it. But here are the two big ticket items, the two big ticket problems. And this is not to do with the compensation in itself, which I think they obviously should issue to the players. Hopefully a decent one. Because, yeah, well, they basically have confirmed that we will have compensation. The size and the amount, obviously, is still unknown, and they're going to work for it. Hopefully not for another month, like they often tend to do. But the two biggest issues currently is the AQ series and Alliance War season most significantly. So first and foremost, I personally think that in order to keep kind of like the whole point of Alliance War season, so in my mind, they have two choices. They can close down the Alliance War season for 6 wars like they did once before already. They did one short version season when something went similarly wrong, and they just counted the first 6 wars, issued the season rewards, and then returned to kind of like normal, which is, I think, exactly what they should do right now, because if people would get access to those sweet Alliance War season rewards earlier and quicker with less work, that would be like a little bit of extra bonus, because technically you'd be getting month worth of rewards for 2 weeks of work, so you'd be getting kind of like an extra addition based on your current standings. So I think that would make many people more happy, and that is what I obviously would personally as well prefer. Or they need to take a week off Alliance Wars altogether, or Alliance War season at the very least, and just not allow new wars to start or conclude or whatever, and then return the season with like a week's break, and then maybe just give us 1 week of an off season after that or whatever else. So they basically have a choice to make with the Alliance War season, in my opinion, whether to cut it down, give everybody the rewards based on their current standings after the 6 wars, or just pause it and stretch it out. So obviously I'd rather them cut it and get rewards earlier. With Alliance Quest, again, I don't think they should conclude the season. We only have had 2 days worth of Alliance Quest, and again, people have had significant issues. Item use is through the roof, because when you go fight and then you get disconnected, you lose half health and all that other stuff. So in general, I think they should just issue rewards based on last week's standings, or based where you are currently, kind of like proportionally to the brackets. I know, again, that is not a perfect solution, but I think that would be better than how people struggle to log in, struggle to kind of like keep an eye on the game at all times and try and rush through it, because you never know when the game's gonna go down and everybody's in like a bit of a panic mode. You obviously don't want to be the person that lets your alliance down. Like yesterday, for instance, I was doing a stream, the game was working perfectly, the game died at the end of the stream, and that was almost at the time when I typically go to bed. And as soon as I finished the stream, I wanted to jump in my alliance quest, and the game went down. And then basically I had to argue with my girlfriend. I had to wait for another like 45 minutes or so, consistently checking. And then obviously I went to bed later. My girlfriend was grumpy. I almost overslept this morning, and those are the kind of issues they are causing. So I don't think they should put people through that, because I know for a fact I'm probably not the only one. And with all that being said, I think they should just cut it and issue the rewards based on either previous week's standings or where we are after day 2, and cut it off and just issue ranked rewards like that. And those are kind of like the main aspects. Obviously there are other inconveniences in the game, but everything that's solo and based is easier to sort out, in my opinion. But everything that's kind of like time and alliance based is much trickier, so they should keep that in mind. But that's pretty much it. To summarize, basically, they will be stopping arenas. There might be more maintenances. They will be stopping solo and alliance events, and they're going to post an update on Alliance War matchmaking, and they are discussing the compensation. And so again, I can't get overly upset at Kabam. Obviously, I'm annoyed, but I'm not gonna make 79 videos and, I don't know, name calling them or whatever, because I imagine this to be even worse time for them than it is for me, and where I might be somewhat annoyed, I imagine a lot of them are extremely frustrated, in full panic mode. There are definitely a lot of people who got yelled at over a couple of weeks, and so just one of those where you need to sit it out, kind of. But yeah, that will do for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video, and if you did, then hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya!